because that is the society, rather the system that has been there for a very long time. Are you therefore stating that for that to change, the system, even policy, has to change and intentionally put in place an opportunity for feedback mechanism to be present?
You know, students are human beings like anybody else. They need to be heard, valued, and respected. We have created an environment where the students' opinion may not take into account. And you see, human beings usually, when they're treated in a way that they don't feel valued, they don't feel understood, definitely what you are seeing right now is people who have developed impatience. They are emotionally disturbed. This process of peer mediation I'm talking about is a process that helps students develop empathy. First of all, is something that's very important. Empathy is understanding other people's feelings, being calm in instances of pressure, and knowing how to approach conflicts constructively. Something that's missing in our students. They don't get it at home because parents are pissy. You know, parents leave home very early in the morning at 6 o'clock to get back to work. They also go through a lot of pressure. They come back at 9:30 in the evening after going through all this traffic jam. And the only thing probably they do is they're trying to make a lot of money, as much money as possible, to ensure that their children are comfortable. But children do not only need money. They need presence. Because this is the only way we can develop them emotionally. What you are seeing right now are children who are not resilient, children who are not patient, children who are not calm, because they have not experienced that from the environments they have from home. So I can tell you how powerful peer mediation is. Peer mediation, students start learning very early. First of all, on how they can solve disputes and conflicts between themselves. Not only solving, but managing. There's a big difference between solving and managing. If students are able to manage their conflicts, because there is what we call intra-personal conflict and interpersonal conflict. Intrapersonal conflict are those conflicts within the students themselves. And that's why I'm talking about emotional literacy. How they can manage themselves emotionally, and interpersonal conflict is how they can solve conflicts between themselves and other students. You know, teachers are taking much time these days trying to solve conflicts between students. If students are trained to solve conflict themselves, not only will they feel responsible citizens, they'll feel honored, they'll feel accepted, they'll feel valued. And these skills of leadership are what the society is looking for. So when I talk about peer mediation, I'm talking about empowering these students very early in life to know how to deal with conflict. Look even at our courts right now. Courts are resolving disputes in a restorative way. They are embracing mediation. So this peer mediation is something that needs to be inculcated very early in the life of our students. In fact, I always tell people, if we do not put these things in place, then this situation is going to become worse than we are seeing right now. I think it's right time for the Kenyans to stop now. Let's look for a different way, an alternative way of dealing with conflict. Rather than coming up with ways of dealing with the indiscipline that we have in school, why don't we empower our own students to have the resilience, to have the skills, to have the competency, to be able to resolve those conflicts within themselves and their colleagues within the school compound. If we can be able to manage that, all these commission of inquiries we are picking, policies we are writing, can only be pieces of paper if we don't action already what we have. Like now, this program of peer mediation. Do we have the capacity to deliver it? Of course, yes. You know, the last 5 years, we have been working on training peer mediation tutors. The only thing we do not have in this country is a policy that impresses these peer mediation programs in our schools. The Ministry of Education has not taken this very seriously. We are chasing a problem to a different direction instead of facing what is here and dealing with it instantly. We have a solution with us.
Okay.
Why don't we adopt it?
I hear you say because what you're talking about is that training amongst peers so that they can understand how to deal with a conflict situation.
Yes.
But if you look at the issues that are affecting students in school today, and unfortunately this largely falls within the boarding schools, largely.
Yes.
That doesn't take away day schools from this, but largely if we look at the school unrest right now, that's the majority of where the problem lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the backdrop of a system where children are to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
So I can be empowered as you like.
Yes.
And I can know how to deal with conflict situations.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go and who am I telling that I have this particular problem, and who is listening to me in a system that already seems like it has been fixed to not take into consideration